This is Chapter 5, Section 1, Civics, the Members of Congress. So, we're going to be talking about the legislative branch first in this next chapter. So, members of Congress. What is Congress? It's the lawmaking or legislative branch of the national government. When people say Congress, they're meaning both houses of the legislative branch, Senate and House of Representatives. So, members of the House of Representatives. They are called representatives. Easy enough. Some of the qualifications to become a U.S. representative: must be at least 25 years old, be a United States citizen for at least 7 years, must live in the state and district they represent, and representatives are elected every 2 years. That means that they have a 2-year term in office. So every 2 years they have to run for re-election. But there are no term limits for representatives. They can just keep on running for as many years as they want. Like Nancy Pelosi, who's a representative from California, has been in it for almost 40 years. So a representative can run and serve continuously as long as they are being re-elected. So representatives are elected and represent a congressional district within a state. So what's a congressional district? That's the area that a representative represents. So representatives are elected every 2 years by their congressional district's constituency. So constituency is the voters in the congressional district that elect the representative. So the amount of congressional districts is based on population. So each congressional district in every state has the same population. So there's approximately, in every district in the United States, there's approximately about 700,000 people. The larger the population, the more representatives a state has. Example, Pennsylvania has 18 congressional districts. Wyoming only has 1. So this is what we're talking about. So each one of these sections of Pennsylvania has roughly 700,000 people in it. You can see that this is where Pittsburgh is. It doesn't take that large of an area, District 18, to get 711,000. But it takes the more of these rural areas a lot more area to equal 700,000. Just with Philadelphia, it's very small. Each one of these sections has 700,000 people in it. So what you have is when you make these districts, as we saw, it's not very clear lines. It's called gerrymandering, creating the boundaries of congressional districts to favor one political party. And the political party with the most representatives in the state draw the lines of congressional districts. For example, if PA has 18 districts, 12 of them are Republican, 6 of them are Democrat, then the Republican Party will draw these lines. Why is this important that the majority party draw these lines? Because they draw them to benefit themselves. This is why the boundaries of each district are oddly shaped. This is called gerrymandering, where they create boundaries to favor themselves. New congressional districts are drawn every 10 years according to the state's population, because the census is taken every 10 years, and then that's when they redistrict everything. So this is how they, these are our districts here, and that's why they're oddly shaped. Like this bottom one, red is very Republican. It's kind of oddly shaped. It's going around, Pittsburgh. Okay, so that's just kind of how they do it. And this is the other way of gerrymandering to win. So you can see that there's more blue than red. Okay, so if you divide them up evenly, like in the squares, okay, blue obviously wins. Divide it up like this, blue wins even more. Alright, it's all about getting that majority. if you in each district. Okay, if you divide them up like this, even though there's technically less red, uh, red red has the majority because there's they win. Each one of these boxes has 10 in there. So if you divide like boxes of 10 and the majority wins in each box, that's how you can have more with less. It's very confusing, but if you look at the boxes and study it, instead of like 10 like dividing up evenly like this is how a lesser population of a political party can still win in elections. So the total number of representatives in the United States is 435. There are 435 congressional districts. Since 1913, that number has stayed the same. There's only there's a finite amount of districts um, in the United States, but a state can lose, decrease in population, or if a state loses people, um, they lose congressional districts. All right, because you have to divide it, and that's 700,000. So if a state increases in population, they'll gain congressional districts. But the minimum representative a state can have is one. As you can see, like these low population states, they only have one representative. These are all the districts in the United States. You can see, they get smaller around cities. So these are like states that have gained or lost. Pennsylvania's lost, Ohio's lost. People are moving out. Some states didn't change, but the Southwest, a lot of them are gaining. So this is what looks like the seats in the House of Representatives itself. Have a whole bunch from California, a lot of people in California, a whole bunch from Texas, a lot of people in Texas and New York, Florida. And you can see like the influence of each state has. So this is the amount of like Republicans and Democrats currently in the House. There's a lot more Democrats than there is Republicans in the House of Representatives right now. Like I said, the magic number is 435. So that it's leaning towards Democratic right now in the House of Representatives. So our own Pennsylvania representative in our congressional district, and Parkway is in the 17th congressional district, and that's this area here. Or it's half Allegheny County and Beaver County. And Connor Lamb is our representative in the House of Representatives. Connor Lamb's a Democrat, and he just won re-election against Sean Parnell. So now the members of the Senate. Members of the Senate are called senators, and the requirements of a senator is they have to be at least 30 years old, have to be a citizen of the United States for 9 years, and must live in the state they represent. Senators are elected every 6 years. It's a long time. And senators serve for 6-year terms. So they run for re-election every 6 years. Senators represent not just a little district of a state, but the entire state in the U.S. government. There's no districts. So when they run for re-election, they run in the entire state. Everybody votes. And each state has 2 senators. That's the equal representation in the Senate for each state. And there's a total of 100 senators. But that's because there's 50 states. Each one gets 200 senators. There are no term limits to how many consecutive re-elections a senator can serve for, such as Chuck Grassley. He's a senator from Iowa. He has served for the past 40 years. He has won 5 re-elections. He pretty much made a career out of being a senator. So this is the Senate. Right now, there's 53 Republicans in the Senate, and there's 45 Democrats and 2 independents. So that's kind of how it went, how it is right now. The Republicans have a majority in the Senate. And here is Pennsylvania senators. Senator Bob Casey, there he is right there. He's a Democrat. He's been elected in the Senate for Pennsylvania since 2006. He has won 3 re-elections, and the next time he's up for re-election is in 2024. And our other senator is Senator Patrick Toomey, and he is a Republican, and he was elected in 2010. He has served for 2 terms, and he's up for re-election in 2020. But he has already said that he's going to retire in 2022 and not run for re-election. So that's the kind of the qualifications for the members of the House of Representatives and the Senate.